I will call to order this meeting of the Ellettsville.
Recording in progress.
This meeting of the Ellettsville Planning Commission on Thursday, March 4th, 2021 at 6:00 p.m. Pat, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
No, not right now. Let
Oh.
somebody else.
Okay, how about Pam?
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Denise, could you do our roll call?
David Drake,
Here.
Dan Swafford,
Here.
Terry Baker,
Here.
Don Calvert, Sandra Hash, Pamela Sanford.
This is Chris with Pud Cooper James. I'm using my wife's computer showing up as Sandy, so I'm not Sandra Hash.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Pamela Samples,
Here,
Pat Wesolowski.
Here.
Thank you.
And did you get Don Calvert, Denise?
No, he didn't answer.
Well, he's on there.
I can't see. I'm on my
He's-
phone.
He's muted. Unmute your self there, Don. Top left hand. There you go.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay. He's still not unmuted. Bottom left hand side, Don.
That should have done it.
Okay.
All
there
right.
you go.
Thanks for your patience.
Okay, we have approval for the minutes for the regular meeting on February 4th of 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Denise, did you get who the second was?
I thought it was Pat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. You ready for roll call?
Yes, please.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
yes,
Pat Wesolowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Monthly conflict of interest statement. Is there anyone who has a conflict of interest with the items that we're going to discuss tonight? Keeping in mind that the only items I think we're going to discuss are the Greenbrier Knowles, Barberry Lake Estates at Reeves and Loudon, Autumn Ridge, and Cedar Bluff Planned Unit Development.
I do with Cedar Bluff because my neighborhood contacts that, and that's been my policy for years. I will abstain on that.
Okay, we have no old business. New business, let's go out of order here a little bit. As I understand it, we're going to have motions to table 3 of the events on the agenda. The waiver from subdivision regulations for Centennial Park Phase 3, PC 2103, preliminary plat approval for 47 lots in the Ellis Ridge subdivision, PC 2102, and the zoning map amendment to rezone the 3888 West State Road 46, which is PC 21-05. Kevin, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I thought Centennial withdrew.
Yes, the 2103 Centennial Park waiver was withdrawn. The other 2 were tabled.
Okay, so we don't have to take a motion on the one that was withdrawn?
Correct.
Okay,
But
do
the motion should state when the 2 that are being tabled, at which hearing they're going to be heard. So if it's the next plan commission meeting, we need to tell people the date.
okay. If I remember correctly, did it say it was the next plan commission meeting? Kevin?
Yes, it'll be the next planning commission meeting. The subdivision, Elletts Ridge subdivision will be renoticed.
Okay, so do we have a motion to table Ellis Ridge subdivision preliminary plat PC 2102 to the next meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Denise, roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes,
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes,
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
all right, thank you. So we next need a motion to table the zoning map amendment for 3888 West State Road 46, which is PC 21-05.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes,
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
yes,
Pamela Samples. Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
Yes.
Thank you.
okay, I want to make it very clear to anyone who is listening at the meeting that we are not going to discuss those three items tonight, which was Centennial Park Phase 3, Ellis Ridge subdivision, and 3888 West State Road 46. So if you're here for those and you don't want to hang around, just so you know. Okay, first on our agenda then is preliminary plat approval for 35 single-family lots in Greenbrier, Knowles, Section 9, PC 21-06. Kevin?
All right, thank you. Just FYI, my presentation's not working at all, so I won't have that up. I do have the meeting packet, so I should be able to pull some of the information up if you want to look at anything. But other than that, I'm not going to. So first case nice tonight, preliminary plat for Greenbrier Knowles. It is 35 lots. It's at the south end of Lantern Lane. Single family homes for all of those. Our tech review looked at the plat earlier this month. Our tech review meeting was actually canceled due to weather, but everyone's looked it over. All the comments that were submitted have been addressed. And I think everything looks good on our end. Rick Kopic is here. He can answer any other questions you have on this.
So just to make this clear, this isn't at the very south end of Lantern Lane, is it? It's in between the older section of Greenbrier Knowles and the newer section of Greenbrier Knowles that's right up against Ratliff. So it's in between the two.
Here, let me see if I can get this pulled up real quick. It's at the south end of Lantern Lane.
Okay, because I don't
here's
see
a-
that on this map here. See, it looks to
Yeah.
me like it's in between the two, if the green area or the area outlined in green is what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's there in green. It ends right where Greenbrier Meadows starts.
Okay, so Greenbrier Knowles and Greenbrier Meadows are two different.
Yeah.
two
Yeah, it
different
doesn't run all the way to Ratliff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the area is about 23 acres total that they're splitting up.
Will that development, will the road come into Greenbrier Knowles?
There will be a road coming in. Let me see if I got the plat in here. There's a road it'll come in from Lantern Lane, and I believe this is the northern part, and there's a road from Lantern Lane that'll come in, and that's a stub. There's another road that'll come in off Deer Run a little farther south. So it'll have two ways in and out.
Okay. And then the other question I have, somebody wrote in about water. You remember that, Kevin?
Was
The
that?
drainage?
No, I don't. Yeah. Rick, I believe, talked to her or emailed her yesterday, and I think that has been resolved. her question's been answered.
Okay. Okay.
You're sure that's been answered, right? The last letter I had, there was supposed to be Mr. Smith that was supposed to meet with them and walk the property, and they hadn't responded back in time to get to us. I don't know Mr. Smith. Does he represent the developer? And I'm glad Rick's listening tonight because they're talking about serious drainage problems here that I think we need to look at unless it has been actually taken care of. And
Yeah, well, I talked to her on the phone yesterday, and we're gonna just outlet it a different spot because she does have some drainage issues on the kind of like the northeast side of her house, and so we've got very little drainage coming out of that pond. It's just really a water quality pond. I mean, it does do a little bit of detention, but it's a water quality pond. And so we're going to turn that pipe a different direction and outlet it to the southwest. And then I've also got a meeting scheduled with her for Monday at 9 o'clock. I think it is 9 o'clock to go out and see what, I'll take a look at, see what the drainage problem is. If there's anything, she could do on her own to help alleviate some of that, but it's, she's like downhill from that big sinkhole area. So it may be where the sinkhole may be coming out her yard or something like that. But there's really not much drainage area that goes to that because most everything falls away from, we're kind of on a ridge top and everything kind of falls away in different directions. So it was a pretty easy problem to solve.
okay, thanks for getting on that right away.
Okay, do we have any other questions from Plan Commission? Would the petitioner like to say anything?
Well, I guess I'm representing the petitioner. So
Okay,
unless you have any questions, I mean, it's just a typical subdivision. All the storm drainage goes to water quality ponds for it's discharged and standard construction for everything else.
Is that the last of them out there, Rick?
That's the last, well, that's the last big chunk of ground. There's a little piece of ground on the west side, kind of like the southwest end of Deer Run, where it meets up with Greenbrier Meadows that somebody owns, and they've got they're going to put some few lots in there, but this is really the last big chunk of it.
Is that the property you're talking about? Is that behind them homes where they took some of the woods out or whatever it was?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. I'm not sure what are you talking about, Pat?
If you're going out to get into the other part of it, like on the right-hand side behind some homes, they went and did some bulldozing, and they got a sign up there now, lot for sale.
Yeah, that's the spot.
How many lots are in there? Do you know?
Well, the original design had 10 lots, I think, in that little section, but
Wow.
But it's so steep in there, and nobody really builds too many bi-level homes anymore. So I don't know if they'll get 10 in there or not.
Okay.
I would doubt it. That
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this?
Yes, actually, this is Mike Buckley. I live on Appomattox Court, which is just adjacent to where this property is going to be developed. And I was just curious how close you're going to be getting to the existing homes on Appomattox Court.
My computer can't seem to handle this big map, so I can't really see it very well.
Yeah. Is Appomattox Court the last court on the left off of Lantern Lane?
Exactly. It's the cul-de-sac, the last road to the left, right before the hearing sign.
Yeah, you can kind of see. I mean, some of these lots will back up to the lots on Appomattox, like 2 or 3 lots.
Yeah, I'm just curious how close you're going to be getting to the back of our homes. There's 3 homes that are going to be.
Pardon me?
there's about 3 or 4 homes that are going to be impacted by the development.
But I mean, they're the same setback. I mean, you know, your home has a 20-foot setback and these all have 20-foot setbacks. So, you know, like you can see if you go to lot 72, 73 would be the ones that would, and 74. If you're Appomattox, your lots.
I'm 73.
You're 71?
I'm 73. I believe I'm 73 by looking at this. Actually, let me see here. Okay, I'm right. I'm right where you are. I'm right where you are. Lot 68, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, they'll probably be, oh, Kevin does, well, you don't have the other drawing in there. There's I mean, there's at least 20 foot from there that they have to meet for the rear yard. And that lot line is like almost you see that 119.71. So the building's probably 25 feet back from the back, and 20 feet off, there's 45, and the building's probably, I think, 55, 100 feet. So they're like, you know, they'll be 20, 30 feet from probably your back lot line, something like that.
Just 20 to 30 feet from our property line?
And they could be, yeah, it's kind of, it depends on how they situate the building on that lot. It's a pretty deep lot, but it's a minimum of 20. There has to be a minimum of 20. So, but it's probably a little deeper than that. It's probably going to be at least 30 feet, I would say.
And do you know what the square footage of each of those lots is? I can't see the fine print on that.
That's 16,500. It's like, yeah, 16,500
square feet.
Yeah, square feet.
0.38 acres.
Okay. Are you selling those lots currently, or are they platted out, or what's the status right now?
That's what this is for the platting of those lots, 72, 73,
Right.
74.
So you're going to be selling those lots to the public, and then from that point, they retain a builder and whatnot.
Correct.
Okay.
And this developer is the same one that's been developing down at the other end of Deer Run down there, if you want to sample the homes.
Okay, so all the lots and the homes are pretty much akin to what's been going on.
Right.
Down by Deer Run. Okay.
Okay, any other questions from the public? Do we have a motion? Okay, well, in that case, I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary plat for Greenbrier Knowles, section 9, case number PC 21-06.
Second.
Denise, roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda is preliminary and final plat approval for 7 lots in the Burberry Lake Estates subdivision at West Reeves Road and South Loudon Road, PC 21-07. Kevin?
All right, now let's see if I can get anything to work right on here. There it is. All right, petitioner is asking for what will be a 7-lot subdivision. There's 36 acres there total. This is going to be a lot more. Well, the intention is to have a lot more lots in the future. Right now, they are only going to do 5 single-family lots, kind of right where my mouse is along Loudon Road. And the 6th lot will be where the existing house is on Reeves Road, and the 7th would just be the remainder. So essentially, they're looking for 5 building lots. Those would all be single-family homes. The lots range from about a ½ acre to 3/4 of an acre. I think that's about it. The only unique thing about this one is the sidewalk. Let's see if I can find a. on here. These are lots 1 through 5, and there's no sidewalk on Loudon Road connecting anything on either side of them right now. And what they're proposing to do instead is put a walkway that would meet ADA standards on the back of the lots, which will in turn connect with some internal walkways and lead straight to the school. Otherwise, the tech review committee has looked at this plat and all the comments have been addressed.
Okay, any questions of Kevin from the commission? Is this, I mean, you're okay with this sidewalk location, and it's not going to establish any type of a precedent that may come back to bite us in the future?
I don't think it does. We talked with the developer at length about this. Let's see if I can get this plat a little bigger. And what we run into is on Loudon Road is before you get to the intersection, it runs into the cemetery. And I don't know that there's enough room to even put a sidewalk in that would connect it to Reeves. So having the sidewalk run partially down Loudon and go nowhere doesn't really help anything. There will be, since they are planning on developing the rest of this, I think the remainder is 31 acres. It'll connect inward and come out, kind of wind around somehow and come out on Reeves right across from the entrance to the school. Normally, no, we wouldn't want this, but I think in this situation, it makes more sense.
Okay. Any other questions from?
Yeah, will there be caution or warning signs where children might be trying to go across from there to the elementary school?
Not that I'm aware of yet. I don't know that there's any, they'll have anything up for a while.
I mean, when they get families in there and everything, and you got kids trying to cross that road, I think personally there should be some kind of a slow down, change up, warning sign of some kind that there's possibility of children crossing the road there.
Well, if when the rest of it gets developed and that becomes where it would be used by, you know, kids going to school or anyone else, you'd put up warning signs for a mid-block crossing that would warn motorists that there's a crossing ahead.
Are you saying you have to have X number of kids going across that?
No, I'm saying when the subdivision would be developed, the bigger part of the subdivision, and all that link is together, if you had a crossing on Reeves Road there, you would have to put up warnings like NDOT, Indiana Manual and Uniform Traffic Control Devices, standard signs for that crossing. You'd put those up on each side of the crossing to warn, advance warning for motorists that there's a crossing ahead. It would just be marked as a standard crossing, I guess. It's a short answer. But yes, you'd put up signs back whenever you had that. That's if you have a designated mid-block crossing, that's how you mark it and put up advanced warning signs.
And I think that's something that'll be covered whenever the rest of the parcel is subdivided up and there's lots up on Reeves Road. Right now, they're not, I can't see them walking. They'd have to go through the field one way or another. So I don't know that they'd walk through that or not.
Now, these lots here are on Loudon Road.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
And there won't be a sidewalk up to the cemetery, will there? Or will there be?
No, there will not.
There will not.
No.
Okay.
Well, not on the front on Loudon. It's going to be on the back side of the houses.
And then where's that going to go, Kevin? Is that going to just be on the back side of them houses? Not going to go any farther than the houses?
It'll connect in with some interior, either trails or sidewalks whenever they put, because the plan is to develop the rest of this.
Right, I understand. But right now, that trail, or what you want to call it, that ADA, is going to be just where the houses are at.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
it may come around a little bit. Past that, I
What?
don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah,
But it's
basically.
not gonna connect to Reeves Road
No, not at this time.
at this time. Okay.
Okay, any more questions from the Plan Commission? Hearing none, is anyone from the public who would like to address this issue?
David, if I could, please.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm concerned. I know I live at 7350 Reeves Road, but Mary Street and Reeves Road intersection. Down at Edgewood Drive, we have significant risk to children trying to cross to go to the south side of Reeves Road that live over in the Schoolview addition. And I'm really concerned after what we went through with the Capitol Avenue mess and the problems we already have in litigation in getting a road on the east side of Ellettsville up to serve an expanding area. I'm really concerned that we're going to go ahead and put some more congestion down there until we have a viable plan in place. You know, I don't really want to see us wake up 2 to 4 years from now, depending how long it takes to develop out that area. That whole area has got a major drainage issue, but if you deal with that, you're going to have at least 100 single-family residences down there off of Loudon Road, south of Reeves, in those fields. And we need some better plan at this point and how we're going to set all that in there and handle both the drainage and the pedestrian traffic and the traffic, because we don't have the infrastructure to handle that additional density.
Well, for the time being, this plan is adequate for the 5 houses they want to build now. Everything else you mentioned will be addressed whenever they put in the other 30, 40, 50, 60 lots. They're not doing that yet. They're putting in 5 homes. That should not cause any significant problems.
I agree. 5 homes is just 5. But everybody's going to say, well, I don't have to go to the expense of putting this other infrastructure in. You know, I'll put 5 here and 10 there and 10 there, and you're going to wake up some morning and you're not going to have the infrastructure to support what you put in.
Kevin, you're saying 5, but on the, I've got paper here, it says 7 lots.
Lot 6 already has a house on it.
Oh,
And
okay,
lot 7 is just the remainder parcel.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, so what I hear Kevin saying is that the issues that Russ brought up will be addressed at the time that the remainder of the area gets developed out. Was there anyone else who had a comment in regards to this proposal?
Yes, sir. My name's Ben Russell. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
go ahead. Yep.
Okay. I just had a few questions about the homes themselves, and I guess a few more questions about this ADA sidewalk. Right now, what I'm understanding is the sidewalk, instead of being on the east side of the homes on Loudon Road, is behind the homes, but it doesn't connect to anything or go anywhere.
It would not be able to connect to anything yet. I mean, which is a pretty common thing that happens in development. We can only require improvements made to the area that's actually being developed. So until that rest of that area develops, we really can't make them put in any additional infrastructure.
Okay, so it's an ADA sidewalk
That goes nowhere, basically, yes.
okay. I'm curious about the lots. Are these lots just being sold as lots, or are there going to be homes built on them and the lots being sold with homes on them?
Well, the intent would be for the developer's going to build the homes on the lots.
Okay. Are these custom homes or just track homes, or?
Well, Josh, who is a developer, is on here. He could answer that question for you.
So semi-custom homes, we're looking at the price range between 300 and 500,000.
And do you have a builder for these 5 homes?
Yeah, we are the builder as well.
Okay. Are there past homes that you have built that are in a different subdivision that we could base the expectations off of?
We built out a subdivision on Mustang Drive. That was not the same target market that we're going to be building these homes for. But yeah, we did build out Mustang Drive.
Okay. The subdivision is called Mustang Drive?
It's on Mustang Drive. It's about half a mile from this project.
Okay.
If
So the
you
target
turn off
market,
if you turn off of Reeves Road, like you're going to the junior high school, the first street to the right is Mustang. And if you go all the way to the very end of that street, you would see the homes he's referring to.
okay. So $300,000 to $500,000 homes, square footage, bedrooms. What are you considering there?
Probably 2,000 to 3,500 square feet. Obviously, with the proximity to the school system, we're expecting a lot of families. So 3 all the way up to 5 bedrooms.
And the bigger lots are going to typically bring bigger and more expensive homes. These lots are considerably bigger than what is normally done in a development in town.
Yeah, that's correct. The houses that we built on Mustang were 0.18 acres typically. So these first 5 lots are 0.5 to 3/4 acre lots.
Is there a spec home that you're building? Are these all going to be custom based on a purchase of the lot and a designing of the home by the purchaser, or?
No, we'll start out building spec homes, and then what we ran into on Mustang is we started pre-selling, and then allowing people to customize their plan. You know, we'll have a portfolio of plans for clients to choose from.
And which lot is the first lot to be broken ground on?
We haven't determined at this point.
Is this a subdivision with an HOA? Are there rules about the building guidelines? Are these brick homes? What's the visual on these?
Hey, Dave, excuse me, they just have 3 minutes to speak and his time's about up.
Okay, yeah, I was getting ready to say something, but we're kind of getting in. This is a preliminary, this is a plat approval. So we're really not allowed to get into all of the details. They have to meet whatever the town's regulations are as far as development goes. But this is really not like site development for a commercial project. So we're getting kind of into detail that really isn't, we're not allowed to consider when we're just doing a plat.
So this is a preliminary final plat approval meeting?
This is plat approval. It's not where we set standards for development. I mean, those are covered under the town code. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we're getting into details that we're really not allowed to consider, like, you know, what the house is made out of, or
okay,
which we're really not allowed to consider those types of things when we do this type of development. So if you have another really important question, go ahead, but we do normally keep people to 3 minutes when they're discussing.
Understood. Thank you for giving me some time. Are these is the access to these lots off of Loudon Road, or is there it seems like there's the plan has been said that there's the whole additional 31 acres is going to be developed. So I'm not sure if there's a road that's going in for that, or if that's later?
They'll have individual access to each lot with a turnaround for each lot so that they won't have to back out on Loudon, but they'll have individual access for each lot.
Okay. And these are going on city sewer and
City sewer and water.
uh-huh. And then what's the larger plan for phase 2 or the rest of that 31 acres? Is that a keeping with the same 1/2 to 3/4 of an acre lots, or?
They'll probably, well, it's kind of, it'll depend on, kind of the lay of the land, but I would say they'll probably be somewhere 1/4 acre plus, something like that would be my guess. There'll probably be some really deep lots because you got the lake out there or the pond. And so you'll get some more acreage around there, maybe smaller lots on the perimeter, but till you lay it out and look at the ground, you don't really know how it's all gonna shake
There
out.
are significant drainage issues there. I've lived on that piece of property for a number of years now. So
Which property is yours?
the one directly to the south of lot number 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, just to the west of that property and to the west of all of these properties, there's a little line coming out from this lake, and it does kind of drain, and there's a little swale there that is really wet and a drainage issue. So I didn't know if all this stuff is draining to the back of these lots, but if it's on city water and city sewer, it's not a septic thing. So.
Yeah, and the next phase will have lots that back up to those. You won't have a road right behind your house or anything. There'll be lots that back up to that. So behind your house will probably be a corner lot, so it'll be a little bit bigger parcel of ground, I would think.
Is there a time frame to be expected for phase 2 or the further development of the 31?
Not at this time. Probably depends on how lots 1 through 5 sell.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if you have any more questions, you might just want to talk to Rick directly. He'll be the engineer for the project. So Rick Kopic with Bynum Faneuil, you might want to get in contact with him.
I'm sorry, can you give me the last name again?
Kopic, Coppock, with Bynum Faneuil.
Okay.
Or you can talk to Josh Clark with Barbary Homes.
Okay. I appreciate your time, gentlemen, ladies.
Okay. Was there anybody else from the public who wanted to comment on this proposal? If not, do we have a motion? Boy, nobody wants to jump up today, do they? I will move that we approve the preliminary and final plat for Burberry Lake Estates subdivision PC 21-07.
Second.
Denise, roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next item on our agenda is a final plat amendment for Autumn Ridge subdivision phase 6 on West Harvest Lane, case number PC-21-09. Kevin?
All right, hang on a second here. Got 5 things open. Let's see. Autumn Ridge. In a nutshell, a few years ago, we split off a portion of one of the parcels for a single family lot. New buyer of the land decided they want to go back to the paired patio homes that were built, that are already built out there, and just finish out the plan that's already there. So basically, they're just removing the lot line that created that single family home, which is around where my mouse is right now. So we'll just take that out, and then they'd go back to paired patio homes. That's about all there is to this one.
This is Rubicon, am I correct?
Wait, which one are we on? 9 or 8?
Yeah.
We're on 9.
We're on 9. Sorry.
I
I was on eight.
for a second.
You're
I was on eight.
you're on the right one, Kevin.
That's a surprise. The petitioner is Charles Lane LLC.
Could you put your mouse where that lot line is again? I was looking somewhere else when okay.
Should be about right in here is where that lot line was, close to on a Seasons Drive portion of that big lot.
Okay, did anybody from the Plan Commission have any other questions from Kevin or for Kevin?
Yeah, I'm just really curious with the lay of the land and that real steep drop off. Are these going to be level off the road and then a walkout basement?
I do not know. I imagine they're probably going to be similar to what's already been built on that back part. I don't have the whole list in front of me of who's here, so I'm not sure if the petitioner is on here or not. I think so, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yes,
I'm able to answer that.
this is Chris Bomba. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we are basically going to build the same that's kind of basically finishing out the subdivision. Some of those in this specific picture up here, I think the 3 buildings right there will have walkout basements. The last one up on the left will not. That land's pretty flat. The other ones that are going to be filled out, there'll be another building that does not have a basement, and then there'll be 2 others that will have basements. So kind of all the buildings we're doing, the 10 buildings we're doing, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, or 8 with basements, 2 with not.
Thank you. I was just curious. Thank you.
Any more questions from the Plan Commission for Kevin? Okay, I'm sorry, I already forgot what your name was. Mr. Bomba, did you have anything else that you wanted to add as the petitioner?
Nope, I don't, but I'm here to answer questions.
Okay, did anybody have any questions for Mr. Bomba then from the Plan Commission? Okay, hearing none, thank you. Do we have anyone from the public who wants to comment on this petition? Okay, hearing none, I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat amendment for Autumn Ridge subdivision phase 6, case number PC 21-09.
Second.
Okay, Denise, roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. The last item on our agenda for tonight is the proposed amendment to the Cedar Bluff planned unit development at Tupelo Drive and North Cypress Lane, case number PC-21-08. Kevin?
All right. Hold on. Sorry about that. I was looking for my paperwork. This is a PUD amendment for Cedar Bluff. It would only affect the 4 commercial lots. Actually, there's 5 commercial lots. I had a nice map of that on my presentation that's not here, so that doesn't really help right now. Anyway, 5 commercial lots. One's a retention pond. One is Starbucks. One is ATI, which only leaves 2 lots. Of those 2, one, we've already approved plans for a multi-unit retail center, which leaves the only lot left, the one that wraps back behind the gas station, which is the one that's highlighted in the staff report. I'll show that. So this would be the lot that would be affected by the PUD amendment. The amendment is basically to allow apartments as a ground floor use, as opposed to the way the PUD is written now, where apartments are only allowed above commercial uses. They're not asking to change the density, so you would end up with essentially the same number of apartments, whether they're on the ground floor or not. The only effect this would have would just be the layout of the actual building. And the reason I went through the lots is just to be clear, it would really only affect this one lot, even though the PUD amendment's essentially a text amendment, so it would affect everything within the commercial portion of the PUD. The stuff that's built obviously wouldn't be bothered by it or wouldn't be affected by it. I think I had the change on here. Yeah, there were two sections of the outline plan that were changed. One is just the description saying it may include multifamily residential apartments with units on all floors or above commercial space, whereas it previously said residential above first floor commercial. And that's in the development standards as well. One primary structure per lot, so it would just be one building at 15 units per acre, or the dwelling unit equivalent, that's what was already approved. So that's what I'm saying, the number of apartments wouldn't actually change. They just want to allow them on the ground floor.
And I may have to ask the developer this, but why would you want a commercial development on top of a residential apartment? Or I guess the opposite of that is, why would you want to live in an apartment on the ground floor and have a commercial development above you?
I think from a planning standpoint, having a mixed use building is, you think of like downtown areas where they have commercial or office space or something on the ground floor and then apartments above it. I think that was kind of the idea.
Right. So maybe I was confused. I thought we were switching it around to where the apartment would be on the bottom and the commercial development would be above it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry about that. No, they want to do apartments from the ground floor up, no commercial. And just take the commercial portion out of that
So
building.
we're taking the commercial out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. I thought, I don't think I'd want to live in an apartment on the ground floor and have a commercial development on top of me. Okay, sorry about that.
Hey, I kind of like that idea. That'd be
Yeah.
different.
Kevin, can you put the map or the drawing back up you had there?
Yes.
That's good, right? That's fine. Bring that back down. The picture is fine too, to make any difference.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Where are they gonna have another cut on 46 to come out?
There's the road coming in here. Tupelo.
Starbucks is to the left of that, right? Correct?
Starbucks is right
Yeah.
here. So this is going to be Tupelo Drive, and then it'll kind of wrap in. It'll be back here. So it'll just come out right here.
It'll come out where it's at now.
Yeah.
So they won't be
I
adding a
think-
cut.
Well, I mean, it's going to wrap. I think the idea is the road's going to wrap back to the other end on Cypress and come so you can go out there too, but I don't know why. You could.
My only
but
question is, they're not gonna put another cut on 46.
no.
Okay, that's the only thing I want to know.
Okay, did any other plan commission members have questions for Kevin?
Hey, Kevin, how would this affect the parking if they go to all apartment units? Would there be adequate parking or commercial? Either way, I'm sorry. I'm confused now too.
I'm sure they'd have enough room for parking. I don't know what the actual numbers would be. I imagine with the apartments, it might be a little less than commercial, depending on how many units. Either that would be fairly similar.
Did you say they'd already had a number of units or had already said how many units were going to be there?
It's the density is set at 15 units per per acre or dwelling unit equivalent. I think when I looked earlier, the parcel is about 2.4 acres. So what's that work out to? 30 some units or the equivalent. And with the equivalent, and this was set originally, this isn't changed. For smaller units, one bedrooms and efficiency, they only consider that half a unit when they're counting it up. So, I mean, depending on the mix that goes in there, it could be 40, 50 units. I honestly don't know what their plan is. I believe the developer is also in the meeting. He may be able to answer that.
Is it a 2-story building or 3, or do we know?
It can be up to 3 stories.
I think the parking's something we need to look at and find out for sure if we're going to be enough parking.
Okay, well, maybe the developer can address that. If anybody doesn't have any more questions for Kevin, we'll hear from the developer.
Hey, Mike Wheaton with Rubicon. Yes, so it's 2.42 acres. Well, that allows for 36.3 DUEs. What we are currently looking at is a 3-story building, taking out the commercial on the bottom floor, but still having, a leasing office, workout facility, and some common gathering space for a total of 34.34 DUEs. So we're missing the DUE by 0.2 equivalents, if you will, or 2%. Parking on that comes out to, right now we are looking at 1s, 2s, and 3-bedroom units, some nice sizable units. And we feel like we're going to have pretty adequate parking for the site as it is, plus a little bit of amenity space. But we feel that since we committed with lot 3, we plan on getting that started yet this year. We're planning on putting the bridge over Tupelo going into lot 3 to connect to Cypress, because I was concerned for EMS and other services committing to that we wanted to eliminate the commercial on lot 1 and complete this PUD and this development over in Ellettsville, much like we did with lot 5 and lot 4 and lot 2.
But the building could have still been 3 stories tall, even if you had the apartments and commercial. So
the building can be 4 stories tall.
Okay. So we're not changing
by right. We're doing a 14-foot, if you did a 14-foot commercial and they went up from there, it could be up to almost 4 stories. We're cutting a story off the building, lowering the mass of the structure and putting it to all residential, which should help buffer against the adjacent neighbor to the north.
Okay, did that answer whoever's question that was?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, David, excuse me, was that Michael Eaton still speaking?
It was, sorry, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Michael, are you going to have any places for dumpsters? And
if I did not, people would be mad at me, but yes, sir, I will have a place for, much like we did the rest of it is, we'll make sure we have underground detention. We'll make sure that everything flows correctly. I have to work with the DNR for the bridge between Tupelo going into lot 3. So this is going to be a fairly decently sized project, but we're absolutely committed to completing it and not letting something sit for years upon years upon years over in that community.
Okay.
Obviously we have a pretty good presence over there with Richland Plaza and everything else.
The other question I have, are you going to have for handicap parking? You're going to have spots?
Well, that's
for
required. That is absolutely required. Anytime you go into the residential, we have to have a certain percentage of that as well.
And how many of them will you have?
That is not known at this time because we're still working on site plans and everything else.
Okay, the other question.
This is Denise. Yeah, sorry, this is Denise. He's going to have 1 ADA space per 25 parking spaces, but most developers add a couple more than's required.
Yeah, they did a real nice job with the condos or whatever townhouses. Very pleased with that. The other question I have is for on parking, the visitors parking. If I have a party, is there going to be extra parking spaces for it?
There will be some additional parking and overflow parking. We still have overflow left on Cypress. You'll have overflow into lot 3, and then you'll have the parking on lot 1 as well. But you know, this amendment is strictly just releasing the commercial space,
right,
ground floor, and just looking at, you know, going to a straight residential. Right. Obviously, you'll see this come back around at a later time, but this allows us to plan on, you know, what we're, you know, projecting, what we're looking towards.
And Pat, where have you been? Do you not know that parties are no longer allowed?
Well, aren't they? Boy, you wait till this COVID stops, man. We're going to have parties all over the place. Thank you.
Okay. Were there any further questions from the Plan Commission for either Kevin or Mr. Eaton? Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this petition? Okay, seeing none, I'll just go ahead and make a motion that we approve the amendment to Cedar Bluff Planned Unit Development at Tupelo Drive and North Cypress Lane in case number PC 21-08.
Real quick. David, I wanted to say this will actually be a recommendation to the town council, since this is basically a text amendment.
I propose that we recommend to the town council that the Cedar Bluff Planned Unit Development PC 21-08 be approved.
Second.
Good luck with those people.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Denise?
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvard's abstain.
Abstain.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, thank you. Our next agenda item is the Planning Department update.
Nope, nothing.
Nothing? Okay, our next meeting is April 8th of 2021. I would like to be hopeful and say that maybe we'll get to do it in person, but I doubt it.
Hey, David, I've got a question on the things that we tabled. Are they moved to the next meeting, or I can't remember the dates? Was everything tabled to the next meeting?
Well, the Centennial Park Phase 3 waiver was withdrawn. The preliminary plat for Ellis Ridge and the zoning amendment for 3888 West State Road 46 were tabled to the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next item is privilege of the floor. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to address us on something that wasn't on our agenda tonight? Hearing none, are there any Plan Commission comments?
Centennial Drive, where are we at with it? Do we know?
Nope.
We had a hearing on that, I think the first Friday in February, and Judge Harvey took it under advisement.
A lot of advisement.
And I know I keep harping on this like a broken record, but is there nothing we can do to make Highland Park open up that last few feet of whole drive, or can they just sit there on it forever and not do anything?
What do you propose, Dave?
Well, I don't know. I would think that surely the county planning department or the county planning commission should be able to make them finish out that one small piece of development that was obviously left out of all the other proposals so that they didn't have to open that. But there again, I'm not a lawyer, so I like to pretend that I am sometimes, but I'm not. I mean, I could almost go rent a backhoe and finish it myself. But it just seems to sit there closed for some reason. And I would think that the county would be just as interested as we are in connectivity between neighborhoods and safe travel. So I'm not sure why they allowed that to happen that way with one tiny piece that wasn't ever finished up to establish that connectivity.
I don't have an answer for you right now. I'll sit down and talk to Kevin about it. And then if we think it's advisable, I'll call one of the county attorneys and talk to him about it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All
Second.
those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Bye.
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 Right now.